If you're a woman and you go on a date with a man, you better have $200 in your pocket. So if that man acts up, you can go where you want to go. So I keep cash in my house.
What's that even mean? If you go on a date with a man, you better have $200 in your pocket. So if that man act up, you could go where you want to go. Fani Willis, who is the Donald Trump prosecutor that has been under fire a ton for the last few months, is now under a whole lot more fire after what she said today in trial. So here we have Tim Pool reacting to this clip. He says, "Holy F, this was wild to watch. She admitted so much." And in this video, we'll go over reactions from Tim Pool, Clay Travis, Ben Shapiro, a ton of other people. But first, let's check out the actual clip of Fani Willis talking about these things. This tweet is from Cernovich, and it says, "She said that she took large amounts of money from her first campaign and kept that. Does she not know what she is admitting here?" So let's check out what Fani Willis had to say to this, to the answer to this question here in trial.
But I always have cash at the house. That has been, I don't know, all my life. If you're a woman and you go on a date with a man, you better have $200 in your pocket. So if that man acts up, you can go where you want to go. So I keep cash in my house.
What's that even mean? Like, you need $200 to get a ride home? Is that what she's saying? Like, why is it all, like, you'll see throughout this entire clip, it's only 2 minutes. And she's so insufferable within the 2 minutes. She calls somebody a misogynist. She talks only to women. She says, if you go on a date with a man, you better have $200 in your pocket. So if that man act up, you could go where you want to go. Like, what is she talking about, bro? It's 2 minutes and she's already, like, if you've never seen Fani Willis before and you watch these 2 minutes, you'll still never want to see another second of this person talk.
And I don't keep cash as good in my purse like I used to, because I don't go on many dates. But when you go on a date, you should have cash in your pocket.
So my question was, where did that cash originally come from, if it didn't come out of the bank?
Cash is fungible. I've had cash for years in my house. So for me to tell you the source of when it comes from, when you go to Publix and you buy something, you get $50, you throw it in there. It's been my whole life. When I took out a large amount of money on my first campaign, I kept some of the cash of that. Like, to tell you...
What was that? What'd she just say?
I just have cash in my house. I don't have as much today as I would normally have, but I'm building back up now. So you just put money in. It's a very good practice. I would advise it to all women.
So you can't identify when...
See what I'm talking about? Like, when she's like, I just keep cash and I advise it to all women. It's a good practice. It's like, why are you talking just to women? Like, if it's a good practice, why would you not want men to do it too? You see, like, it's just insufferable stuff that's just like makes this person so unbelievably unlikable.
You came into this cash, or where the cash came from?
I didn't say I couldn't identify it. No, nobody gives me anything. I am sure that the source of the money is always the work, sweat, and tears of me, which...
I'm sorry to keep pausing, but she literally just said 5 seconds ago, whenever she was asked where the cash comes from, she goes on this big speech about how cash is fungible. You go to Publix and you get $50 in change. You just throw it in your house. It's a good practice for all women to keep cash on them at all times. It's like, she just went on this big speech when asked the same question, and then when asked the question again, she's like, I didn't say I couldn't define exactly where it comes from. Well, you did in so many words.
What you asked me for is, when did the money go in there? What I am trying to tell you is, so I got divorced in 2005 from my husband. No, it's important. You said, where did the money come from? And I need to tell you where the money came from. And so for many years, I have kept money in my house. That money in my worst days has probably only been $500 or $1,000. At my best days, I probably had $15,000 in my house at cash. At all times, there's going to be cash in my house or wherever I'm laying my head.
The money that you paid Mr. Wade, the cash, in October of 2022, you do not know where that money came from.
I do know where it came from. It came from my sweat and tears.
You know which job it came from. Did it come from Fulton County or did it come from a private job?
It came from, what are you talking about? So it could have come from a private job, because before I was DA, I was in private practice. So I earned money during that time period that's probably in there.
You don't know
could have.
Basically, she doesn't want to answer the question. She knows where the money came from. She kind of admitted it earlier on by saying, you know, it came from her campaign or whatever she said. I'm sure she's going to say in the future that she never said that, but she admitted it earlier where the money came from. She knows where the money came from, but she's dancing around the answer. I caught that too. I'm really surprised they didn't pounce on that. That's a bigger issue than this case. And then we also, like I said, have reactions from a ton of other people, not just Tim Pool, who said, holy F, this was wild to watch. She admitted so much, but also I bookmarked a ton of replies and responses and reactions from other people around the space. So you can see here, Clay Travis says, Fani Willis under oath on Nathan Wade. His D didn't work for a whole year and he's a misogynist, but she says she won't speak badly about him. But yeah, I mean, she's just an insufferable person. You can tell that everybody that she doesn't like is probably a misogynist in her eyes. The Daily Wire tweets out this gif of Ben Shapiro and says, everyone watching Fani Willis's testimony today. Ben Shapiro eating popcorn. Clay Travis also says, I believe this is a thread of Clay Travis tweets. Let's pull this up. Clay Travis also says, for anyone watching court proceedings today, and it was riveting, one of the biggest issues I see from attorneys and interviewers in general is not listening to answers and following up. Most of these attorneys had a list of questions they wanted to ask, missed huge follow-ups. You can see that even in that clip. Like, they were just ready to ask the next question a lot of the time. You know, sometimes they did double down and try to get the answer out of Fani, but sometimes they'll just ask the next question and not realize that they're passing up on like a huge statement that the person just made. For instance, Fani Willis says she has no checks, really 0 checks. She had $9K in cash in her house. She took money from her campaign stash. Nathan Wade said he and Fani drove to Tennessee from Atlanta just for lunch. What? Have you ever made that drive? I have a ton of times. You drove 4 hours round trip for lunch? No way. They went on trips to Belize, the Bahamas, Aruba, Napa Valley, and more. In 6 months, it's often not the pinpoint legal questions that blow up stories. It's the details that don't add up being probed. He also goes on to say Nathan Wade didn't lie about cheating on his wife in his divorce affidavit because in his mind, the marriage ended in 2015. A marriage either legally exists or it doesn't. You don't just get to make up your own definition. And on his tax returns, I bet he said they were married. These are just details I heard that weren't explored. We also have this tweet from Harmeet K. Dillon says, every campaign finance lawyer in America cringed simultaneously because Fani Willis is just admitting to so many different things. I couldn't believe she actually said that out loud. The more she talks, the more she incriminates herself. She answers questions that haven't been asked and then keeps on talking. Isn't this the first thing your defense attorney tells you not to do? She admitted to commingling, I don't know how to say that word, cash from donors with other cash. Does she not? Or I guess that means commingling. Okay. Did she keep records to say which was which? Of course not. This was probably her biggest gaffe in a day of many. What kind of DA doesn't know how to be a good witness? Not only was she not a good witness, but also she's just an insufferable human being. That's a campaign fund violation. Illegal if you're a Republican. That's true. I saw a ton of people saying like it's fine. Like she's going to get away with it because she has a D next to her name. You know, a ton of people are saying that. And I have to agree. She probably will just get away with it with nothing happening to her. Here we have another Tim Pool tweet, another Tim Pool reaction to this Fani Willis drama. No sane person thinks Fani Willis travels around with thousands of dollars in cash to pay back plane tickets and stuff. That's what Tim Pool had to say also to this Fani Willis drama. I'm sure Tim Pool and Clay Travis and Ben Shapiro and the rest of them will have a ton more to say in the future, and we might cover the reactions if there's any further developments in this as well. Fani Willis just randomly keeps thousands of dollars at her home, and that's how she reimbursed Nathan Wade for their vacations, even though she uses Cash App to pay her rent. She used the word fungible. It's crypto. And to pay back birthday presents, she is a fraud. She does carry tons of cash. Here's the proof. All right, that's pretty funny. Well, let's wait and see what the ladies on The View have to say about it. True. Let's wait and see like the voices of reason. Let's see what they have to say about this. Okay. Let's wait for The View, for Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and the rest of them to actually come out and make their statement before we actually jump to conclusions here. Let's get the voices of reason on the case, and then we can jump to conclusions. Okay, guys? Anyway, let me know what you guys think about, you know, this whole Fani Willis drama of her admitting to several different crimes and also being just an insufferable person. And what do you think about Tim Pool, Clay Travis, Ben Shapiro, the Daily Wire, the rest of their reactions to this situation? Do you agree with them? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments what you think about this whole Trump prosecutor admitting to crime stuff. Let me know in the comments what you think.